All right. Well, I think that wraps up anime follow up. So, Brent, what is your topic for today?
So I want to talk a little bit about our I almost said anime. Jesus.
We're going again.
Uh, hey, start over. I got things to say again. Um, I want to talk about our backlogs a little bit.
Okay.
So obviously the world is happening
Right.
around us. The ever waking nightmare. Uh, but like this has put me in this really unique position to be like, guess I'm gonna play through a zillion video games, right? Like that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of been what I've been doing for the past what I don't know 180 days. How long have we been quarantined at this point? I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
um, so it's kind of made me look at some things that I 3 years,
3 years.
yeah,
Yeah, it feels like it.
pretty close. I'm pretty sure it's still March like 104th right now. So um, but yeah, no, like this has put me in this like unique position to be like, all right, I'm gonna play through all of these games that I've just been like collecting a little bit, and I'm gonna start really hammering down on these and firing through. So I guess I'm curious, like obviously I know what I've been playing
Yeah.
recently, trying to tear through the backlog, and a couple of old fires have been rekindled courtesy of this too, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what you've been playing and what you've been doing.
What I've been playing.
That's like have you revisited old franchises? Have you like started
Hmm.
something new, or are you just kind of trudging along through some of your through recent games? Like where have you been in
Gotcha.
all of this?
Gotcha. Yeah, I was definitely on the same track of like, oh, well, now I have all this time to play games. And it was also the timing of it all was I was transitioning from one job to another. So I also had this gap of time where I had
Perfect.
no responsibilities before shit really hit the fan. Um, so yeah, it was just kind of like, what have I started and just never got around to finishing it and tackling that. So I was actually posting like every week on Twitter, like what I accomplished that week or whatever. So since I think just before like shutdown started to happen, I've beaten the Spyro Reignited trilogy, those three
Okay.
games, and platinumed them.
Wow. All
Um,
three of them?
all three of them. I
Okay.
did Medieval, the remake for that. That's platinumed. Um, let's see. I started Devil May Cry 5. That one's kind of tapered off. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, but just other things came up with Animal Crossing and other stuff.
Oh
Um,
boy.
on stream, Resident Evil 2 remake. We finished that. We only did Leon A, Claire B, so we haven't done the flip flop, but I'll probably do
Okay.
that on my own time. Let's see. What else was there? I think that's it. So not all that much. Like I've played other stuff, like putting a lot of time into Animal Crossing. We beat RE3 on stream.
Hmm.
Playing FF7, which we're gonna get to later,
Yep.
on my own. I mean, it's technically backlog. We're playing Okami on stream now. We're about like
I saw that. Yeah.
a quarter of the way through on that game or something like that. If how long to beat is to be believed. Um, so we'll see.
That's that's a game I've wanted to love it for a long time, and I don't know why. Like I keep picking it up, and then
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I just keep losing it or losing interest or some. I don't know what it is, but I cannot get myself to play through that game.
Hmm.
And like
Okay.
everything about it is something I, in theory, should be super in love with, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Do you think it's the pacing of it?
I think so. I really don't know what it is that keeps losing me with that game because I've legitimately started it like 3 times,
Gotcha.
and every time I just bounce off for one reason or another, and it could just be bad circumstance. I'm starting it at the wrong time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that is, and I love the art style. I love the gameplay. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's a Zelda-esque game.
Right.
Like in theory, everything about that game should be right up my. It's Japanese culture, which is
Mm-hmm.
a big thing. So this never sits well with me.
Hmm.
And the same with Darksiders, which is really weird because that's also like a Zelda-esque
Mm-hmm.
third-person action game. And I like started it twice and got a good chunk of the way in and just completely lost fire. I don't know what that was about.
Hmm. Um, but yeah, I think those are the only ones I've actually sat down and played. Like I've played other games. Like I was really big in Apex Legends for a solid month, and I'll pop in there every once in a while and still play that.
Sure.
I already mentioned Animal Crossing. Um,
I think everybody on
yeah,
this planet is a little bit deep into Animal Crossing
yeah.
right
I
now.
got I got FOMO from that. It's like shit. Now I gotta get a Switch. All right, fuck it. We'll give it a try. There's other games definitely over there that I want to play. Like I mentioned Devil May Cry 5. I want to play more of that, but it's also one of those things I'm like, man, I'm having so much fun with this. Do I want to stream it? Because I streamed the other ones. And I was
Sure.
like, maybe I should just save it for that. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, I played for like a hot minute and I was like, whoa, this is going to be super like grindy, or like I got to spend a lot of time in it. So I
Sure.
kind of want to play that. So that might be like next down the list for just myself.
Mm-hmm.
Disgaea 5 is something I want to jump back into as well. It's
That's
similar to what you said with Okami. Like, I enjoy everything about it. It's just
Yep.
something, I don't know if it's like the next game, like, just happens and I just drop it like a bag of
Yeah.
bricks or whatever. But that's one I definitely want to jump back
This
into.
guy is. I have a weird history with that series because that was another one where I bought. So at the time there was Phantom Brave, Disgaea, La Pucelle, and Makai Kingdom was the other one. There were like four of them from NIS, and they
Okay.
were all like these super deep tactics esque RPGs. There was Phantom Brave too. There was a fifth one. Um, but like I played through La Pucelle, loved it, super into it, just like tore that game apart. And then I went to Disgaea and I same thing, just kept bouncing off, bouncing off, bouncing. And I'm like, there's something in this game that's not connecting the right pieces of my brain that's getting me into this game, and I don't know what it is because
Mm-hmm.
it's like tactical JRPG should super be up my alley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I like all the characters in it.
Yeah,
I like where the story's
Laurel and
going.
Etna and
It's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just the grind. Like I think I was talking about it the other day, but like
there's
it's a lot of grind and it's a lot of the same
there's
level. Like I was comparing it to another game that I absolutely fucking love, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance on the Game Boy Advance. Like, yeah, that was a grind, but like every battle seemed a little different, whether it was the map or it was the people you were fighting, kind of thing. I think that's what this guy is missing. Like obviously there's the different levels that you can do, but like
yeah.
it's the same enemies every time. They're in the same spot. Like it's just like I don't know.
I feel a little bit like Disgaea has a problem in that there's not much variety in their characters. Like, yeah, there are different classes and stuff, but like ultimately you get to a point where you're just building up like the named characters
Right.
and they're just this kind of cardboard cutouts of the same character.
Yeah.
Like, I have a huge mega attack that's in a cross. I have a huge mega attack that's in a circle. You know, like, there's not a lot of variety in the characters. Whereas you look at something like Final Fantasy Tactics, and it's like, okay, I've got a white mage and a black mage and an archer, and I've got a thief, and I've got a knight, and then I've got my one name character, Ramza or whoever it
Hmm.
is, depending on which game you're playing. But like, there's variety there, and there's like actual tactics as opposed to just the tactics portion of it being a grid-based combat system.
Hmm.
Like I never felt that I needed to do anything tactical in Disgaea, if you know what
Right.
I mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's all I've been playing. So, what's been your backlog journey there, Brent?
So this kind of started a little bit at the end of last year
Okay.
because I always like doing just a retrospective in my head at the end of every year, like what were my favorite games of the year.
Hmm.
So there were like two or three games that I was missing that I hadn't like finished yet. So I kind of wanted to go through and do that. Um, so like that's what prompted me to finally play through Control, which was fantastic.
Hmm.
That's what finally prompted me to finish up um, Judgment,
Okay.
and then I picked up Dragon Quest 11
Okay.
Control Game of the Year 2019.
Yeah, Jeff loves
I
that game.
It wasn't my favorite game of it was on the top 10, but it wasn't my favorite game of the year. But it was, and I'm just gonna say one phrase, and Jeff is gonna know exactly what I'm talking about, and it's gonna mean nothing to anybody else. But Ashtray Maze just blew my mind right out of the back of my head. It was ridiculous. Um, so then I picked up Dragon Quest 11 after after having sat on it for forever.
Mhm.
It's just this game that, again, in theory, I should be super into. It's a JRPG. It's the character designer from Dragon Ball. It's like what is not to love here? And then I think I was playing that at one point while I was streaming, but then something else came out and I started playing that on stream, and then Dragon Quest just fell onto the back burner.
Mhm.
Um, so I played through that, finished that finally, which was really great. And then I was trying. I got caught up in the same thing everybody did. Oh, Valorant came out, and you got Call of Duty Warzone,
Mhm.
and you got all these battle royales you're trying to play through, and fell into that trap for a while too. But one game that I didn't initially have on my backlog that I actually just started playing this within the last. When did I? I think I started playing this game on Sunday or Monday.
Okay.
But it's The Legend of Heroes: Trails of Cold Steel.
Okay.
So this is a game that originally came out for the PS Vita,
Mm.
and it's, again, just JRPG,
Mhm.
nothing too crazy there. But like I think for a long time I've kind of fallen off of JRPGs to an extent. I don't know what was holding me back, but like that was my thing growing up. Like that's all I looked for.
Yeah.
I remember when I was making the decision between, am I going to get the Sony PlayStation or the Sega Saturn, which RPGs are on each, because I want the one with the best RPGs.
Mhm.
And then Final Fantasy VII happens, and it's like, okay, well, this is a no-brainer now.
Right.
Um, but like that was, do I have 60 to 70 hours of free time? Well, as it turns
As a
out, yeah.
as a kid, yeah.
Because, well, even now, like,
Mhm. True.
I, you know, I don't think it's the time investment that scares me off of JRPGs, because I play Souls. I
Mhm.
play every Souls game that comes out all the time because I'm playing Neo 2 right now, which
Oh,
is
cool.
super good.
Yeah.
But like it's not the time investment. I don't know if it's just like how slow it is, or if I've just aged to a point where I like that more actiony style. But I just really fell off hard on JRPGs. Like could never finish one when I would start one. And I want to say like that's been my biggest like renaissance throughout this whole thing, is like got deep into this Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel, which, let me tell you, game's real good, fun game, JRPG. It's got some Persona-esque things to it where you're going through days and there's like a school setting and all that. It's like Persona to an extent. But this Legend of Heroes like saga, there's Trails of Cold Steel 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky 1, 2, and 3.
Oh,
And then
okay.
there's also a third Legend of Heroes thing, and there's 2 or 3 episodes of that. So there's like a, a s- uh, too many games. There's too much. So I'm staring down the barrel of being invested in this whole world that I didn't even know existed until literally a week ago.
Right.
Um, but yeah, like between Dragon Quest and now this Legend of Heroes, and then I'm playing Trials of Mana, which is another game that I never finished as a kid. Like I remember downloading the ROM and an English translation patch back when I was in like sixth or seventh grade,
Mhm.
playing it on my computer on the keyboard, like just a million years ago. And again, loved Secret of Mana, but never got around to finishing Trials. And then I re-downloaded the Mana Collection on the Switch last year. Never got around to playing Trials of Mana. So I bought it again, the remake that just came out a little bit ago, and I'm actually starting to hammer my way through it now. It's super good, Jeff Reg, in case you're curious.
Nice.
Um, kind of a action RPG sort of thing, but
Okay.
yeah, no, it's been super great. Like the positive, I guess I can take away from all this nightmare this world's a part of right now is
Yeah.
like it's really rekindled my love of like playing JRPGs and has really gotten me to go back and play some of those things that I just kind of let die on the vine, I guess, like of course I'm still playing new things. I'm playing Final Fantasy VII, which we're getting there.
Yeah.
um and I'm playing Persona 5 Royal and I'm playing Neo 2. And you're probably asking yourself, there's no way you can play all these games at the same time, and you're right. I've got Resident Evil 3 just sitting in a box downstairs, like ready to go. Don't have the don't have the ability to sit down and play it on top of watching all the anime and working, and it's just it's a lot. But
Yeah. Question about that. How, because you're playing those numerous games at a time, how is it like balancing, like, just giving each time to play it, I guess? Because, like, when I'm playing something, yeah, because, like, I don't know, I gotta focus on one thing. If I start trailing over to the other one, then that one's gonna supersede and take over the other one, kind of thing.
so I would like to start by saying terribly.
Okay.
It's not. I'm not doing well at all.
Uh-huh.
That's the real answer. The problem is I'm just being inundated with new games that I'm like super interested in and into,
Yeah.
and it's like I've got that thing in my life. I don't want to call it FOMO so much as like I I guess it's FOMO at that point. Like I just like to be a part of the conversation. I
Gotcha.
want to be able to talk about the things as they're happening.
Mm-hmm.
So if I purposely, even in Resident Evil 3 remake as an example, like I think I watched somebody stream it a little,
Yeah.
but like I've not touched it, so like I've not had anything relevant to say about that game, and I just hate when a conversation breaks out about a game thing that I'm excited, and I'm just like, I
Gotcha.
can't. It's I guess it's kind of a FOMO thing, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's what I'm passionate about and what I love to talk about. I
Mm-hmm.
talk about it all the time. So to answer your question, I've been doing a terrible job at staying on task with all of these different games and all of but it's just slowly making your way through it. It's like
For sure.
I'm playing games enough that like once I'm done with Trails of Cold Steel, before I plunk down $40 to get stuck into another 60-hour game, I'll go back and finish something else,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll come out and do it again or something. So like everything that I've got sitting down there, I'm excited to play. So like there's nothing that I think is gonna fall by the wayside, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Jeff said it's weird. I feel like when Red Dead 2 came out, everyone was talking about it everywhere, and I don't know if it's because of quarantine or what, but I was expecting that with FF7 Remake, it's not the case. You mean like people aren't talking about it? Because I disagree with that. People are talking the shit about it. Maybe it's just people I'm following. Like a lot of people in the Kind of Funny community obviously are doing their podcasts and whatnot about it. Like I know
Yeah.
Trevor Stark, he's a big one. He's like, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to put all my words like into this thing and whatever. And Kyle Stevenson's been really into it. And then
Yeah.
outside of that, like Maximilian dude, this is like his, like a lot of people, game that he just wanted. And like I've been avoiding it like the plague, not because obviously I don't have that connection to it, which we'll get to, but I've been avoiding it just because I want to experience it myself. But like I'm looking forward to going to Max and seeing his playthrough of it and experiencing that. But then on the other side of the coin, you talked about Resident Evil 3. Like that was one I was like, eh. I watched the whole thing, then I played it. I was just like, I don't care. So I don't know.
Like there's nothing about Resident Evil 3 remake is gonna surprise me. Like because I played Resident Evil 3
Mm-hmm.
multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know the beats. I know the story beats. I know what happens. I just need to see how it happens in this game. And if that makes any sense,
Mm-hmm.
because that's really the only difference at this point is like, how does this game portray all of the events of Raccoon City versus how it did it in the original?
Mm-hmm.
Like I've already seen the part where Jill gets knocked out, and that's when Resident Evil 2 happens.
Mm.
So like,
Gotcha.
I think in this one it's you're fighting Nemesis and he's like running around on buildings or something.
Yeah.
And then he knocks Jill out because
Correct.
she, yep.
She like
So-
takes a I don't know, a 5-hour nap, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Before Carlos shows up.
That 5-hour nap that she takes,
Mhm.
that's Resident Evil 2. Like
Ah,
during that time,
Okay.
while she's asleep.
Cool.
So like, I know how all of these pieces fit together. It's just now I want to see how this game
Hmm.
portrays all of it and explains it. And that's the only part that I've seen so far is that fight
Uh-huh.
and the subsequent aftermath.
Gotcha.
And Jeff Rigg, I feel like the Red Dead thing is like that game. Anything that's made by Rockstar kind of transcends games to a
Yeah.
small extent.
It's more of
Like-
that casual audience, for lack of a better term. Like GTA is the same way. Like people talk
Filthy.
about GTA. Casuals. So yeah, I don't know.
Resident Evil 3 is the best line I've heard in a video game, though. Like the original or the remake? Here's a fucking weird door. Okay, yeah,
Don't
I like that.
that.
Yeah, no, that's been a journey I've been on lately, and it's been pretty awesome to revisit a lot of these things and rekindle a lot of old loves, which I guess can walk us into our next topic if you like.
Yeah.
I've exhausted the backlog things I had going on.
Oh, that all sounds good. That all sounds interesting. And yeah, I mean, who knows how long this thing's going to go on. So, I mean, we got some time to figure out what we're playing next. And
Yeah.
like you mentioned, pre-show, like, or pre-recording, like, more games are coming out. Like, fucking Last of Us 2, which personally I'm not too invested in. That's coming out. And then, what was it, Ghost of Tsushima got announced too? So, like, more shit coming out, and there's just always that constant balance of like, okay, what are we playing?
Yeah, I mean, I want to get that Streets of Rage 4 tomorrow. No, Friday when
Yep.
it comes out, because Streets of Rage. I like Streets of Rage, and this one's getting great reviews, so
Right.
I'm gonna pull the trigger on that one.
Mhm.
And then a month after that is Xenoblade Chronicles. Chronicles,
Not
right?
sure.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles.
Okay.
Remake of the first game is coming out for the Switch, and I
Ah.
loved the first game, so I'm gonna play through that game, which is only 80, 90, 100 hours worth of content.
Yeah, there's more remakes. Like Saints Row 3 drops soon in May.
That one I'm gonna avoid.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Like I liked the game, but I've
Yeah.
played through it, and it's not to me, it's not on a level as like a Xenoblade Chronicles.
I hear you.
So
Yeah, that one I think will just be a fun walk
Yeah.
back through time. And then
For sure.
Destroy All Humans comes out in July too, so I'm looking forward
oh
to
yeah,
that.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Yep. So
Man.
keep coming out. But yeah, more backlog stuff. We'll find time for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, there's lots of time.
Yeah.
Good God.
Ah,
Whole Earth is gonna be a wasteland by the time I'm done with all this stuff. It's ridiculous. Be a bombed out Fallout 3 apocalypse.
oh boy.
There's just
Fun.
gonna be a shelter made of trash, and you're gonna open a door, and there's me just like, I'm almost done with Trails of Cold Steel.
Finally.
Oh God.